Well, here I am sitting at my little desk again. I've been reading my book for a while now. I was wondering, what am I going to talk to myself about tonight? And I was reading in here, a lot of different places. I said, oh, wow. I got a little confused because I started remembering a whole bunch of stuff. But I can't just sit here and say, this happened, and this happened, and this happened. So I decided to go to a particular spot again. And I ended up in the second book of Kings. There are two books of Kings, First and Second Kings. Now I'm going to start reading at chapter 1. Something you got to keep in mind, and I'm talking to me right there. Something I have to keep in mind, that I'm entering right into the middle of a story, and I'm going to start talking about it. I have to keep in mind that before this spot here, other stuff has happened which led up to here. It's close to where Elijah is going to be finishing up his ministry. He was a prophet. Just before Elisha takes over. Now, Elijah didn't die. A lot of people heard about the chariot of fire, where the chariot came down and picked up Elijah and took him to heaven. Well, we can read about that right here, among other things. Check this out. Remember, we're going right into the middle of a story. Then Moab rebelled against Israel after the death of Ahab. And Ahaziah fell down through a lattice. This is the king. I believe this is the name of a king at this particular time, Ahaziah. Fell down through a lattice in his upper chamber that was in Samaria, and was sick. And he sent messengers and said unto them, Go, inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron, whether I shall recover of this disease. You dig that? Now here we got God. And they weren't calling him Jesus back in them days. It was God. But all these people in these countries, they made up their own gods. This one here, they named them Beelzebub. Any way you want to put that together, it's devil. It's Satan. But the angel of the Lord said to Elijah the Tishbite, that's who he was, a Tishbite, Arise, go up to meet the messengers of the king of Samaria. There he is, he's a king. And say unto them, Is it not because there is not a God in Israel that ye go to inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron? He's being arrogant to these dudes, right? Now, therefore, thus saith the Lord. This is Elijah talking to the people that the king sent out to inquire of the god of Ekron. And Elijah's telling them this stuff. Thou shalt not come down from that bed on which thou art gone up, but shalt surely die. And Elijah departed. Elijah went. He met them on their little journey to go and find out if he's going to recover from his sickness. And Elijah said, Nope. Want to know why? because they were not following God. They could care less about the Word of God. They were not doing the right stuff. There's no righteousness in here. No right way of living. Now that's the first 4 verses of the first chapter. Pretty rough stuff. Mild, it might seem like, but when someone says, hey, you're going to die, you're done. And when the messengers turned back unto him, he said unto them, why are ye now turned back? They weren't going long, and they zipped right back to the king. And they said unto him, there came a man up to meet us, and said unto us, go, turn again unto the king that sent you, and say unto him, thus saith the Lord, is it not because there is not a God in Israel, that thou sendest to inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron? Therefore thou shalt not come down from that bed on which thou art gone up, but shalt surely die. The language here is really cool, ain't it? And the king said unto them, check this out. And he said unto them, what manner of man was he which came up to meet you and told you these words? He wants to know who said this stuff, huh? And they answered him and said, he was a hairy man, and girt with a girdle of leather about his loins. And he said, this is the king, and he said, it is Elijah, the Tishbite. Now, he knew who the prophet was. Everybody knew who the prophet was. Then the king sent unto him a captain of 50 with his 50. This is the king sending 50 soldiers plus the captain, so there's 51 people. Soldiers, big, brawny dudes, right? They're going to go get Elijah, maybe. Let's see what he says here. Then the king sent unto him a captain of 50 with his 50, and he went up to him, and behold, he sat on the top of an hill. This is Elijah sitting up on top of a hill. And he spake unto him, thou man of God, the king hath said, come down. These 51 people went up to get Elijah. 51 people. This was probably macho soldiers here, right? And here's this old guy that's been a prophet for a long time. And Elijah answered and said to the captain of 50, if I be a man of God, then let fire come down from heaven and consume thee and thy 50. And there came down fire from heaven and consumed him and his 50. Just like that, they got wiped out. Now, here they are in the land. There's other people that are seeing this stuff happen. Regular folks. Wow, here goes some of the army of the king, and they're going to go get the man of God. They're going to bring him, and they're going to say, hey, well, they're going to do something. They're probably going to beat him up, right? But that's not what happened. But there are other people observing this stuff. They see what's going on. Keep that in mind. Again also he sent unto him another captain of 50 with his 50. He did it again. And he answered and said unto him, O man of God, thus hath the king said, come down quickly. And Elijah answered and said unto them, if I be a man of God, let fire come down from heaven and consume thee and thy 50. And the fire of God came down from heaven and consumed him and his 50. Now there's 102 people that got burned up. You see, the people in the towns around, they see all this stuff. Can you imagine the fire coming down from heaven? Thousands of people got to see this going on, man. And he sent again, this is the king, a captain of the third 50 with his 50. And the third captain of 50 went up and came and fell on his knees before Elijah. And besought him and said unto him, O man of God, I pray thee, let my life and the life of these 50, thy servants, be precious in thy sight. This guy didn't want it happening to him and the guys that he was in charge of. Behold, there came fire down from heaven and burnt up the two captains of the former 50s with their 50s. Therefore, let my life now be precious in thy sight. And the angel of the Lord said unto Elijah, you ever have an angel talk to you? When you do, it is awesome. Go down with him, the angel said. Be not afraid of him. And he arose, this is Elijah, and went down with him unto the king. This guy was smart. He didn't want to get burned up. All the people that these other individuals went by saw these guys coming back with Elijah, but they weren't dead because they were being friendly towards God's servant. You know anybody in America today who abuses God's servants? Like in the government? The Supreme Court? I don't have much time here. I'm going to have to knock this off. A couple minutes. Those people don't care. Alright, let me unplug this thing. I got too much charge going on. And now we're going to talk about the death of Ahaziah. And he said unto him, Thus saith the Lord. This is Elijah talking to the king. For as much as thou hast sent messengers to inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron, is it not because there is no God in Israel to inquire of his word? Therefore, thou shalt not come down off that bed on which thou art gone up, but shalt surely die. Elijah told him right to his face, you're going to die. I'll be right back.